This is nothing to do with black. And it is nothing to do with Jewish people.
He's black and he thinks it is.
People. Well, it's absolute rubbish. And to pull out the race card is absolutely... it's rude to the rest of us people because it's nothing to do with it. It's to do with the fact, and although it's a statement that's perhaps a bit strong, but basically she's stolen our prince. And our prince was the most popular royal this country's had for many years. He dealt with a lot of charities. A lot of people absolutely adored him. He had humanity of his mother. He married a woman who was welcomed to this country with open arms, a beautiful lady, and it was a wonderful, wonderful wedding, and we wanted her and him to be happy.
Welcome back to Royal Sussex Squad, where we set the record straight on all things Harry and Meghan. If you're tired of the same old smear campaigns and twisted narratives, then you're in the right place. Today we're addressing the absurd claim that Meghan Markle somehow stole Prince Harry from the British public. Yes, you heard that right. Some people are out here acting like Harry was a royal possession instead of a grown man making his own decisions. The entitlement is off the charts, so buckle up, hit that subscribe button and let's dive in. The latest outrage comes from a caller on LBC radio ranting about how Meghan has stolen our prince. Now let's get one thing straight. Harry is not the property of the British public. He is a man with his own mind, his own choices, and most importantly, his own happiness to consider. The idea that Meghan somehow bewitched or manipulated him into leaving is nothing more than a ridiculous fairy tale cooked up by people who refuse to accept reality. Let's talk about this so-called behaviour that supposedly made Meghan the villain. According to tabloids, which, by the way, are about as reliable as a broken clock, Meghan was a diva, she fired people, and she didn't fit in. But let's ask the real question, why is it a problem when a biracial woman stands up for herself? When Kate Middleton has standards, she's elegant. When Meghan does the same, she's difficult. The hypocrisy is unreal. And let's be honest, the tabloids have been feeding this nonsense to the public for years. These so-called critics admit to getting their information from the Daily Mail and The Sun, two outlets that have built an entire industry out of vilifying Meghan. And then we have the caller who calls Harry a puppy dog, who followed Meghan and is now under her control. Excuse me, are we talking about the same Prince Harry who served in the military, survived combat zones, and has spent his entire life dealing with the ruthless British press? And this is not a man who is easily led. This is a man who saw the hate directed at his wife and took action to protect his family. And honestly, isn't that what any real man would do? What's even more outrageous is that some of these critics act as if Meghan is some sort of supervillain while conveniently ignoring actual royal scandals. Where was this level of outrage when Prince Andrew was being exposed for his ties to Jeffrey Epstein? Suddenly, people have all this energy to attack Meghan but turn a blind eye to the real disgrace within the royal family. The double standard is sickening. At the heart of this entire controversy is a disturbing mix of misogyny, racism, and entitlement. The fact that some people still refuse to acknowledge Meghan's biracial identity shows just how deep the bias runs. One caller even insisted she's not black, she's mixed, as if that somehow changes the way she's been treated. Meghan has been vilified because she is a strong, independent woman who refused to be bullied into silence. And that's what really drives these critics mad. Prince Harry made a choice to prioritize his happiness and mental health, a choice to marry Meghan, a choice to step away from a toxic environment. And let's be real, if Meghan had truly stolen Harry, don't you think he'd be miserable by now? Instead, he is thriving, he is happy, he is building a life with Meghan and their children on their own terms. One of the most disturbing aspects of this entire Meghan-hating obsession is the idea that Harry somehow owes his loyalty to the monarchy and the British public. These critics act as though he should have remained under their control, living a life dictated by outdated traditions and unspoken rules. But let's be honest, why is his happiness less important than preserving a stiff, robotic version of royalty? The people who complain about Meghan stealing Harry don't really care about him. What they care about is maintaining the illusion of the perfect royal family, one where the younger brother stays in his place, smiles for the cameras, and never steps out of line. These are the same people who were fine when Harry was being paraded around as the fun party prince, but lost their minds the second he dared to make a decision for himself. It was never about loving Harry, it was always about owning him. And let's be real, they're furious because Harry rejected them. He saw the way the royal machine treated his mother. He saw the smear campaigns against his wife, and instead of staying silent, he said, "Enough!" That is what truly drives them crazy. The fact that they lost the power to dictate his life. For all the noise, all the hate, and all the smear campaigns, there is one simple truth that these critics cannot stand. Harry and Meghan are winning. They have built a life together on their own terms, free from the toxic environment that tried to tear them down. They are raising their children away from the intrusive, nasty British press. They are running successful projects, working with global leaders and making a real impact in the world. Meanwhile, their haters, they're still stuck in the past, obsessing over two people who have moved on. Meghan and Harry don't waste time responding to every baseless attack because they don't need to. Their success, their happiness, and their freedom speak louder than any bitter royal commentator ever could. So let this be a reality check. Harry and Meghan are thriving, and no amount of delusional ranting is going to change that. One thing these critics fail to acknowledge is that Harry and Meghan's departure from royal life was about more than just a love story. It was about freedom. Freedom from outdated rules, from suffocating press intrusion, and from a system that prioritizes optics over well-being. Harry and Meghan did what so many dream of but are too afraid to do. They took control of their own lives. Instead of being trapped in an institution that saw them as expendable, they chose a future where they could protect their children, speak their truth, and build a life of purpose, not performance. And let's not forget, Harry has been vocal about his struggles within the royal family for years. His decision to step back wasn't a sudden impulse. It was the result of years of mistreatment, gaslighting, and watching history repeat itself with Meghan. If these critics truly cared about Harry, they would respect his choices. Instead, they throw tantrums because he dared to break free. But here's the truth. Harry and Meghan are free, they are thriving, and there's no turning back. So to all the bitter haters clutching their pearls over Harry and Meghan's happiness, it's time to let it go. Harry is not your prince to own. He never was. He is a man who made the best decision for himself and his family. And if that upsets you, well, that sounds like a you problem. That's all for today, squad. Let's keep lifting up Harry and Meghan and shutting down the toxic nonsense. If you love what we do, hit that like button, subscribe to Royal Sussex Squad, and drop a comment below. Let's get this conversation going. And if you want to support the channel, don't forget to send us a super thanks. We appreciate every bit of love and support. See you in the next one.